You think she's moved on. You think the silence means you meant nothing. But the truth is, silence is often where missing you hides when her pride won't let her speak. And before we go any further, subscribe right now. Not for me, for you. Because when you're emotional, you forget the truth. You start bargaining with your self-respect. You start romanticizing scraps. You need reminders that hit like a cold glass of water. So subscribe and give yourself consistent clarity. Now listen. When a woman starts missing you but can't admit it, it doesn't look like a movie. It doesn't look like a long apology text. It doesn't look like her showing up with tears and accountability. It looks like confusion. It looks like testing. It looks like indirectness. It looks like nothing on the surface while everything why she can't admit she misses you underneath is shifting. Here's the thesis, the clean, unromantic truth. When she misses you but can't admit it, it means your absence is forcing her to feel the consequences of her own choices, and her ego is fighting her emotions. That's it. That's what it really means. Not that she's suddenly a different person, not that she's realizing your worth in some fairy tale redemption arc. It means the reality she chose is not giving her what your presence gave her, and she doesn't know how to come back without losing face. And if you're not careful, you'll take that as an invitation to lower your standards. You'll take her internal conflict as proof you should chase. You'll take breadcrumbs as a banquet. That's where men lose themselves. Let's build the reasoning ladder step by step, so you stop guessing and start seeing. The misconception is this: if she misses me, she'll tell me no. If she was emotionally mature, yes. If she was grounded, yes. If she respected you and herself enough to be direct, yes. But most of the time, missing you is not the first hidden sign, same as choosing you. Read that again. Missing you is a feeling. Choosing you is a decision. Feelings come and go like weather. Decisions reveal character. So, the hard truth is this: she can miss you and still not be willing to do what it takes to have you in a healthy way. She can crave the comfort you provided while refusing the responsibility that comes with it. She can want your attention without wanting your leadership. She can want your stability without wanting your standards. And you, if you're weak, you'll mistake desire for devotion. That's called self-betrayal. Because a woman missing you is not the prize. The prize is a woman who can be honest about it and aligned enough to act like an adult. So why does this happen? What's the root cause? It's usually one of three things, and they all come back to the same engine: ego protection. 1, she built a story where leaving you or pushing you away made her right. And now your absence is punching holes in that story. She doesn't want to admit she miscalculated. She doesn't want to admit you weren't the problem. Because if she admits that, she has to face something changes in her communication painful. That she lost something valuable because of her own behavior, her own indecision, her own disrespect, her own inability to communicate. That's a blow to identity. That's a blow to pride. 2, she misses the way you made her feel, not necessarily who you are. You were a mirror that reflected her value back to her. You made her feel chosen, safe, desired, seen. Now that mirror is gone and she's staring at herself without the flattering lighting. That doesn't mean she loves you. That means she loved the emotional experience you provided. That's called attachment to benefit. 3, she's scared that admitting she misses you gives you power because in her mind, whoever cares more loses. So she plays it cool. She posts. She accidentally views your stories. She asks mutual friends about you like it's casual. She sends a random message that has no substance. She tries to reopen the door without having to walk through it with accountability. That's called maintaining leverage. And the reason those behaviors feel so confusing is because they're designed to be not always consciously, but functionally. When silence means something. She wants the relief of your presence without the vulnerability of admission. And now we get to what it costs, because it costs you something if you don't handle this like a man with self-respect. It costs you your center. You start checking your phone like a gambler at a slot machine. You start narrating her behavior like it's a secret code. You start living for hints. You stop training. You stop building. You stop leading your own life. You stop being the man she could respect because you're busy being the boy who wants reassurance. And that's the tragedy. Because the moment you start chasing the version of her that might come back, you abandon the version of you that was finally waking up. You cannot rebuild a relationship on anxiety. You cannot earn respect by begging. You cannot negotiate attraction. Let me say it in a way you won't forget. If she senses that your self-worth is dependent on her response, she will feel pressure, not admiration, and pressure kills desire. Neediness turns romance into obligation. You become another task on her list, and no woman misses a task. She misses a man. So what's the reframe? The reframe is emotional signals. You should notice this. Her missing you is not your cue to re-enter the chaos. It's your cue to measure whether she can meet you at the level you now require. Because if your absence created clarity in her, good. But your presence should not be a reward for confusion. You're not a rehabilitation center for emotionally indecisive people. Now, let's get specific because you don't need theories. You need control when she starts missing you but can't admit it. You'll often see patterns like this. She reappears with, "Hey." She reacts to your content but doesn't engage. She sends nostalgia bait, a song, a memory, a joke only you two understand. She asks a question that doesn't matter. "Did you ever finish that show?" She suddenly becomes concerned. "Are you okay? You've been quiet." Or she goes the opposite direction. Loud, posting more, showing more, acting like she's thriving while secretly hoping you'll notice and reach. And right there is the trap, because if you jump, she learns something. She can access you without owning what she did. She can pull you back into orbit without changing. And you know what that does? It teaches her that the relationship doesn't require respect. It only, female psychology explained, requires your tolerance. That's called conditioning you to accept less. So here's what you do. You stop interpreting. You start requiring. You stop responding to bait. You respond to clarity. You stop rewarding ambiguity. You reward accountability. You stop being available for confusion. You become available for alignment. And to do that, you need an identity to anchor into a standard. So let me paint the archetype for you, the man who handles this correctly. He's not bitter. He's not petty. He's not performing alpha on the internet. He's calm. He has structure. He has a life that doesn't pause because a woman feels nostalgic at 11:47 p.m. He wakes up and his body is handled. Training, discipline, sleep, food. He has work that matters. Maybe not glamorous, but purposeful. He's building competence, not just confidence. He's becoming undeniable in private, not dramatic in public. He doesn't hate women. He hates weakness in himself. He can feel loss without turning it into desperation. He can miss the moment she starts realizing you value her without making it her job to fix his emotions. He can love and still walk away, and his boundaries are not threats, they're facts. He doesn't say, "If you don't do this, I'm leaving." He simply leaves when the behavior doesn't match the standard, because he knows something you need to know. The only leverage a man has is his willingness to walk away from what dishonors him. That's called self-respect. Now, let's talk action. Real action, not fantasies. First, stop contacting her to see where she's at. That's a lie. You're not checking her temperature, you're asking for validation. And every time you ask for validation, you tell your nervous system that you cannot regulate yourself. You hand her the steering wheel of your emotional state. Stop. Second, if she reaches out, you do not reward vague. If she says, "Hey," you don't pour your heart out. You don't rush into humor. You don't audition for her attention like you're trying to win your spot back. You keep it grounded. You keep it clean. You can respond, but you respond like a man with a spine. You match energy, and you require clarity, because clarity is the currency of adults. And if she can't be clear, if subtle actions that reveal her feelings, she can't say what she wants, what she regrets, what she's willing to do differently, then you do not give her access to your time, your body, your attention, your emotional labor, because access without change is just repeating the cycle. Third, stop stalking the proof of her life. Her social media is not information. It's advertising. You're reading a billboard and calling it reality. You're watching highlights and punishing yourself with them. That's not love. That's self-harm with extra steps. Cut it. Fourth, redirect that energy into the things that make you dangerous in the best way. Your health, your finances, your craft, your relationships with men who hold you accountable, your ability to be alone without collapsing. You don't level up to make her regret it. You level up because you're done being the version of you that settles for emotional confusion. Fifth, if she returns with something real, if she actually admits it, owns it, and shows a plan, then you still don't rush. You watch behavior over time. You don't get hypnotized by words. Words are cheap. Consistency is expensive. Let her pay the price. And if she doesn't return, good. Because then you're not dealing with a woman who can't admit it. You're dealing with a what you should do next. Woman who won't choose it. And you don't build your life around someone who won't choose you. Now I'm going to address the part of you that's still clinging because I know it's there. You want to believe that if she misses you, it proves you mattered. But you don't need her pain as proof of your value. You don't need her regret as closure. You don't need her return as a certificate that you were enough. That's the little boy talking. The man already knows he's enough because he is becoming more every day by choice, by discipline, by standards. If she misses you, fine. Let her miss you. Missing is not a contract. Missing is not a commitment. Missing is not repair. It's just a feeling. And you are not here to be someone's temporary emotional medicine. You're here to build a life that makes sense with or without her. A life where your peace is not up for negotiation. A life where love is a bonus, not a rescue mission. So here's the identity reset. You are not the guy waiting to be chosen. You are the man who chooses. You choose what you tolerate. You choose what you respond to. You choose what you build. You choose the standard of woman who gets access to you. And when you live like that, something interesting happens. Women don't just miss you, they respect final motivational message you. Because respect is born when you refuse to abandon yourself. And if she ever comes back with honesty, with humility, with real change, you'll be able to meet it from a place of strength, not thirst. You'll be able to choose it cleanly, not cling to it. And if she doesn't, then you win anyway because you didn't lose her. You found you. You found your spine. You found your direction. You found your self-respect again. You became the man who doesn't need mixed signals because he only accepts clear ones. You became the man who doesn't chase because he's too busy building. You became the man who doesn't beg for love because he knows love that needs begging isn't love. It's a transaction. That's called self-relimation. And now subscribe. Seriously. Not because I need a number, because you need a voice in your ear that doesn't lie to you when your emotions start negotiating with your standards. If you want more truth, more clarity, more backbone-building reminders, subscribe. You're not alone in this. There's a community of men choosing discipline over dopamine, purpose over pleasure, self-respect over attention.